Hello again, Chris here, and I'm back with some more 2 Point Campus. So, in my last video, I had finished off breaking points, and I gave the 2 Point University a little bit of a quick look. So, in the original video, I was set to do counterculture and dark arts. Well, I decided to change that up a little bit. I restarted the course, and instead, I decided to go with School of Thought. And because of a bit of a recording issue, it didn't record. It recorded it like just a little bit of an issue there where the video wasn't recording. So I finished off year one. I had 7 of 8 students graduates and 1 fail out. I have a pretty decent campus set up, and I have both of like the $50,000 and the $100,000 loan taken out. So with a little bit of a recap, I'm going to get into the level, load it up. So 2 Point Campus or 2 Point University seems to be one of the tougher levels, especially if you picked something difficult like the School of Thought, which is the course I decided to go with because it's a 4-year course. It has the highest tuition, but it also seems to be hardest for the students. Right from the get go, I had 6 of the 8 students coming in with Fs, and it was a bit of work, but I got all except for 1 through the first year. So if you take a quick look, this was the final tally at the end of year one. So this student is going, but I have 2 Ds, Cs, and a B. So we are getting up, we are doing pretty good. I got enough to level up School of Thought up to level 2. So there's 16 students coming in. There's 5 beds to handle them because there's a total of 23 students. So 5 students per bed. We're pretty good as far as that goes. I have the gym set up because it's one of the requirements for the second year of School of Thought. One thing that I did, like I actually tried running through the course with School of Thought once before, and all of the students pretty much failed out. So you do have to put a little bit more money in, and especially for a course like 2 Point University, it's a little bit harder because you only start with 150. And when you get up to level 2, you can take out the first $50,000 loan. I wasn't able to get up to level 4 by the time that I had to start the year because I was pretty much out of funds. But you should start off with the digital computer and the digital consoles because the first time going through, I started off with the analog and they pretty much bombed out from there. So you also have to get a gym set up for the second year. And I think one of the advantages to that is that if I decide to take on a second course, the one I'm really considering is the academic exercise because it needs the gym as well. So I have that going. And then there's the cheese ball court, so that would get them outside more. So I think School of Thought and academic excellence is probably a good combination. Either that or Scientology or business. But something that makes use because School of Thought requires your lecture hall, your science lab, your computer room, and also your gym. So throughout the first year, the students spend a lot of time in the private tutor rooms. I have 2 teachers going, and we'll see what the first year comes out with. But the estimated yearly profit loss is 206,000, so that should get me into the green a little bit more because throughout the first year, I took out the 2 loans that I could, but I was constantly in the red. So it's like I tried to make sure I had about 10,000 by November, kind of stashed away because every month I was losing a little bit more until April, and then I started getting in the green because the students were doing a bit better. The course was going a little bit smoother, so it wasn't until then that I finally started to see some improvements. So, with that having said, one of the things that I did cover that pretty much got lost in an unrecorded video was that there's 2 entrances for this course for the students to come in. And in the first attempt at this course, like 2 Point University, um, I decided to start the course way up here because if you look closely, you can see the 2 staircases here. This is where the majority of students, when you start getting a lot of people coming in, are going to come out. So I built the main entrance right here because I expected, okay, well, they're close and they'll go right to the course. And I didn't actually build a door on this side. So the students ended up coming through a car through here. and they ended up walking across the path. And since there was no door, they also had to go along a long side of the building because I made it fairly long, and then go in the main entrance. And it wasn't until partway through September that they actually reached their dormitory to even start getting changed or anything. So I lost quite a bit of that, and they a lot of the students didn't even attend a class until I think midway through November. So I pretty much was coming out with all Fs. So just it definitely pays to have multiple entrances to your building. So as you can see, I have one on both sides because it is going to benefit. The club that I will be going with, I did have it set up originally, but because money was so tight, I had to sell the club to be able to build the gym. So once I get a little bit more money, I'm going to get back to putting the book club in. You can probably see here that most of the students, where's the clubs? So they are in the book club. Yep, pretty much all of them are in the book club except for the one that's leaving. So once I get 2,000, I'm going to put the book club back in, and it was right here. And then I'm going to probably add another one somewhere. And I also have the bookworm, so they can start using that. The bathrooms are fairly small. I'm also going to have to... I like sticking with the 3x3 rooms because you can fit 4 of the stalls in and 3 sinks, and I have the garbage bin already. And it's kind of the same layout with the bathroom as well. So that's essentially where I am. I'm down to $72. I have both the loans that I can take out are currently out, and there's nothing I can really do for getting a little bit more money. It would be nice to have hit campus level 6, but for this, picking School of Thought is a really hard one to start with. And to get up to the next level, I need 30 points. So 3 more campus levels. Clearly no way I'm getting there by the beginning of year 2. So that's essentially the recap. We're currently sitting at a C average. And here we go with year 2 of 2 Point University, the final level. So it's definitely been a long journey, and we are very near the end. So thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with it. If you have watched all along, you have quite a bit of patience. If you're just trying to tune in for the ends, I can appreciate that as well. Thanks for watching. Here we go. So, manage courses, make sure that we are getting 16 students in. And I did lower the cost a little bit because the default is 15,000, but I could only take in 15 students, so I lowered it a bit to get to that 16. So that's good. We're going to exit out of that and begin year 2. Here we go. Year 2 of 2 Point University, and let's see where they come in. So there is no car. It says that we're out of money, but we should be getting some in for the beginning of the month. So this is the students arriving, and you can see that one is leaving and a couple are coming from, would have been this entrance. So 3 from there, and then the rest coming in from hopefully the car or a bus. Okay, so that's quite a few students coming in, 1 student leaving, and at the beginning or the end of September, we'll see where they sit, and hopefully we can get that last club put in. We'll set it to prioritize recruitment so that we get more people finishing up. So there's a bit of a queue for this this wardrobe here for some reason. It's like they don't realize that there's another one there. So right now we're currently at negative 278. We can live with that for the time being. We'll see where the first month brings us, and it brings us into the green. Okay, so we are now at profits. We can make a few quick changes. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the club in. So the one I'm sticking with is the book club because School of Thought is a really, really tough course for them. So you pretty much want them to have every advantage they can. So here's my library. I made it a bit bigger. It is a bit bare right now. I put a whole bunch of attractiveness items around at the end. I did the whole carpet thing where they have the carpets to increase the attractiveness level, and I have posters all over the place. And it's just a few rooms that I do need to improve a little bit. But now that I have the club back in, I can actually put a little bit more effort into the gym as well. So let's turn off the attractiveness level and just put a little bit better items in. So we have 6,000. We can put in a rock climbing wall. let's put in one of the weight stations, and I do have enough room that I can extend this area out when I need to. Let's see. I also wanted to add, so that's 3%. Do the bikes add anything? So healthiness. So we'll add 2 bikes as well. And I had to make a very, very basic gym because I had so little money to work with. All right, so now that we have that, we are going to put in the hand sanitizer and the garbage bin, and then just check that and see if we can add any more hand sanitizer rounds. So I did have hand sanitizer here, but when I put in the gym, for some reason, it made it so that they had the exclamation mark. So for some reason, against this wall, I just can't seem to add any hand sanitizer. I don't know why that is sometimes, but yeah, it happens. So I also put a bunch of the water coolers around. So we have 1, 2. I haven't put any of the love trumpets in yet, but I do have a couple of love benches. And we are entering September now, so we will see how the students do. For the first start, it is quite a task. You have to get up to campus level 18, so that's going to take a few years to do, especially since money's fairly tight, and you need 10 level 5 rooms. That's going to be a fairly easy one, especially with the School of Thought, because the student lounge and the staff room can easily get up to 5. I mean, it's at 3 and they're very basic. The science lab, when you put in the extra items, you can easily get that up. The dormitory, so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, that can easily get up to level 5. The library as well, so 5, 6, 7, and then I'll probably need another lecture hall pretty soon, probably for year 3. So if I upgrade both of those, that'd be 8, 9, and then I just pretty much have to pick one other room, which will probably be either the medical, or maybe it'll be the marketing office or the training one, the training lab, because I'm definitely going to have to put in a training lab fairly soon. I want to get those teachers up so they can start doing a lot better for the students. But that's where we are now. So it's 1900 that I have, 1996, and the monthly profit is actually good. So this year is already going a lot better. In the first year, it was just constantly seeing in the red. So a good start, and we're already up to 14,000 a month, and we're on the fastest speed, so the students are definitely doing a lot better. They have a couple food items around. I'm going to be adding more of those later. Probably put some outside the gym, and the gym can easily be expanded out when I have a little bit more money to put into it. And we're almost at level 6, so once we hit level 6, we can take out the $250,000 loan. Let's set this to a priority. So I want everybody that can join the book club in the book club, because that really is going to help as far as this course goes. So we are campus level 6 now, 6 of 18, and it's going pretty decently so far, I think. So we're at $2,000. At the end of September, we're going to check the students' grades, see which ones have to go for tutoring, and yeah, we already have the lecture hall upgraded once. So as you can see, the School of Thought seems to be the hardest one on the students. So what we're going to focus on, and I kind of focused on this quite a bit in the first year, is that I'm mainly going to focus on the F students for the first little while to get them sent to the tutoring. Normally, I would kind of go all the way up to basically everybody that was orange, but since those people are pretty much guaranteed to graduate anyway, every time that there's a class or every time I get a little notification, I'm going to quickly check here and just make sure that everybody that has an F is going for the tutoring. So as you can see, it did drop, that first class did drop our grades down a fair bit. This is pretty much where a lot of the year ones for School of Thought start. And it's pretty much something you have to contend with. Like, there's not really any way out, especially in the early years. So we're at 23,000 now. And I did leave enough room that I can put in a medical office. So that's what I'm going to do now that I have a little bit more money. I'm going to add a medical office in here because we do need it. Actually, I can't. Okay, so what I can do is do a quick little, not really a cheat, but I can take that out, repay those, so I have those loans to take out. And if I take out the 100,000, I can repay that balance, and it leaves me with only one loan out at the moment, but it does seem to help out quite a bit as far as not having a lot of interest to pay. So there we go, and I was going to put in the medical office. So now I have enough room for that. 1, 2, 3, and move that down. So eventually I'm going to move the gym over, and it gives me a fair bit of room to extend it. And I might even end up moving the science office over as well. But right now I'm going to sort of leave it like this because there's not a lot of purpose. I hope that they don't go over this way too much. I thought about cutting it out, but it seems like even if you cut it out, it doesn't really, you don't get any money back. And if you do want to extend things out later, then you kind of have to spend a little bit more. So money is very tight right now, so it's not really worth it. We are going to put in the desk. It's 1,500 for that, but it does increase the how fast they heal up. And we're going to put in two of the. Actually, we're putting in three of the medical cabinets. So one didn't quite line up right. There we go. So that fixes that. So now we have our medical office, we have our pastor office, and we have two private tutor rooms, and we have a few students that definitely need tutoring. The only thing we don't have is an assistant that has the first aid skill. I don't think anyway, so let's quickly check. Actually, we do have a student that has it. So we're going to set him, well, the library is set up to 3 people, but it's not specifically these ones, so what I'm going to do is just do a little bit of tinkering here. So we want, so he can work in the library and the medical office. Actually, I'm not going to do any tinkering. Okay, so we're at 9,000 right now. We have some students going for tutoring. The teachers are there. The staff room is close enough that they don't have to travel too far, and it's right near the bathrooms. And I have 5 of the digital consoles here because for School of Thought, you'll notice that essentially you need almost one per student because a queue starts every time that they start using these. So here's the first computer class, and yeah, as you can see, pretty much one per console. So if there is a bit of a queue, I do have enough put aside that I can always add a couple more. So right now I don't see a queue really. They're sort of using the computers and not line up at the digital consoles. So that is helping with their grades a bit. Oh, there we go. So there's the first queue. So let's copy one more in. And yeah, one of the things that I can't remember if I covered this yet or not is that the first time going through, I put in analog stuff just because it was cheaper. That really hinders it because I don't think that the School of Thought people even use analog computers. So every time they would have a computer class, their grade would immediately start dropping because they're not doing anything. Even though it looks kind of like the animation is going, School of Thought doesn't seem to use analogs at all. So you definitely have to put a little bit more money in and start using the digital computers. So we have that, and the profit is going up, so that's good. We don't have enough yet to upgrade the lectern. I could take out a loan for that actually, so let's do that now. And let's see, so take out the $50,000 loan, that gives us $76,000. And let's set a janitor to upgrade that. Now let's hire one more janitor if there is a good one. So we have dry mouth, rapid, and gross. So we don't want that. So it's really important, especially for a tough level like this, to make sure that you are choosing people with the good stats. A negative stat can really can really affect how how smooth your level goes. So I'm gonna stick with getting the people with maintenance. So squeaky clean. He does have bottomless pit. That's not really a huge deal breaker, so we will hire this janitor, and he can keep the area clean. And right now there doesn't seem to be a queue at any of the bathrooms, so that's good. And normally I would put in the golden cubicles here, but I just don't have the money quite yet. This is a very tough level, so we are past the first class, so now we are going to quickly check the grades again, and anybody that has an F is going to go for tutoring if they are not already. So we are pretty much all set as far as the F goes. All of them are already going for the tutoring, so there's a queue of 5. Now I could add another room, except I only have 2 teachers at the moment. Yeah, 2 teachers for the School of Thought, and right now their energy is fairly low. So the only way to increase that is pretty much just in the staff room. So yeah, not a lot of things that I can really do, but they are set that when their energy starts getting low, they should go anyway. So the fact that they're not, I don't know if it's a bug or what it is exactly, but for some reason, a lot of the staff don't really do that. So they want a park bench now. Well, we can swing that because park benches are fairly cheap. And what I like doing is putting them by the door. So I have the 2 love benches by the door over here. And let's put a park bench right next to one of them. Whoops, line up nicely. There we go. All right, so we put 2 park benches in. The love benches are 600, so you don't want to go too overboard, especially at the beginning with those. But we can actually just continue on right now. We have 44,000 out. Let's see. So we can't replay a loan yet. But that's not a big deal because we have 2 loans out, and so there are 23 students and 15 of them are already in clubs. Okay, let's view the students. So yeah, he is already going for the tutoring. And we have this person just working away trying to get all 23 students into the club. So if we get all 23 in, we're good for that. Now, they want a big book, so we can put the big book in. It is a bit more expensive, but we can actually fit that in right next to the pastor office. Yeah, I think that's a good spot. It's just out of the way enough that people can access it without getting a little bit of a cluster. So, here are 3 medical conditions, so we are working on that as well. And student lounge party. All right, well, let's schedule one of those in. I know it's 4,000, which with money being tight, you wouldn't think I would do that, but it does keep their happiness up. And let's repay that first loan. And now we're down to 3,800. But we have most of the stuff that we need to get done. The only thing that we need to do still is just upgrade the science facility. And probably in year 3, we're going to need another science lab. So now that we are at level 6, I can take out all 3 of the loans, and that is going to give me a lot more to work with come the following year. So you'll probably see a lot more expansion between year 2 and 3. But between year 1 and 2, it was just really, really tight. So we are in December now. So the year's ended, and profit is 14,000. So before we get too far, let's quickly check and see to make sure all of our F students are still going for tutoring. So whenever they do go for a tutoring session, it does blank out the need for it anymore. But sometimes if their grades are low enough, they'll have to go for multiple sessions. So now that we got enough money, we can actually set the science hub to be upgraded as well. So we do have 2 janitors, I think, that have the ability. Oh no, we only have 1. Okay. So once he finishes the lecture, he'll probably start on the science hub. I don't want to waste money getting another one just to do that one thing, especially since a lot of times I forget to fire them anyway. But we can stick with this. So now it looks like there is a bit of a lineup in the bathrooms, so we can add 2 more toilets. That should help them out a bit. And let's add 2 more showers since we do have the money. And there we go. And we have a request for ripped cords. Well, we're going to ignore that for the time being because I think that is... no, it is a student lounge party, but we're not going to waste money with it yet. So the other thing that I want to do was... I can't remember now. The only other item that I have to upgrade is the Omnicure, but like I said, there's not a huge rush for that. So things are definitely going a lot better this year than they were in the first year. Okay, so we are down to F. Now the January is finished, so let's quickly check and see that everybody that is in F is going for tutoring. So yeah, this is definitely one of the tougher courses to start with, especially if money is really tight because you can't just go overboard on the rooms. So we have all of our students going for tutoring, and I think what I'm going to do is actually hire another teacher and put in one more tutoring room. Now, I did fill the walls with a whole bunch of items just to increase the attractiveness. Between year 2 and 3, I'll probably do that again, but I'm going to add another tutoring room and then hire one more teacher. So let's get that done now. We have our next tutoring room, and do we have a good teacher? So we have a gross lollygagger. Nope. We have one that has the inspirational speaking, which is a good one to go with. And the bin blindness isn't really a deal breaker. I do like that he has iron bladder, so that is a good one. Let's get that teacher in, and then he can start doing the inspirational speaking as well. So they also want a statue of love. Well, we can afford that. It's only 1,200, and let's put that one over here to get a little bit more of attractiveness near this area, and we can easily swing it. So that takes care of that. Year 2 is definitely going a lot better, even though we're currently sitting in an F. As long as our teachers kind of stick with it and get these students up, then we're definitely going to be a lot better off. So this person just finished a tutoring session, but he's still at an F, so we're just going to renew that and get him going back in as soon as he can. He's going to go get some energy back. And yeah, the energy seems to refill fairly quickly when they're in the bed. Yeah, energy is already back up to 100%. Okay, so campus is leveled up. And this student is still at an F, so we're just going to renew that. And just make sure that we get as few people failing out as possible, because this is definitely the toughest course to go with. It's just a matter of like combining money and not making the course go on too long. I'd like to finish it by year 4 or 5, but seeing some of the requirements for the stars in this one, it's a really tough one to reach. So let's put a crescent bench in beside the love bench, and let's put in one more up here. Let's put it right here. Okay, so the outside is starting to get a little bit nicer now. You can see that there's only one path along here. That is another thing that I'm going to start doing between year 2 and 3, is extending some of the roads so that there is a decent path coming around. Okay, so I did just see somebody come up with a failure sign. So let's make sure everybody that is in F is going for tutoring. You'll have to definitely make sure you check this fairly often, especially for School of Thought, because it is the toughest course, and you want to make sure that, yeah, it also is the highest tuition, so you want to make sure that everybody that can go for tutoring is going for tutoring. Alright, so 9 students are at risk of failure. That definitely is a lot better than the first year, where I think when I was partway in, I was still seeing that like 6 of 8 were a failure, but when I finished, only one person had failed out. So that is good. And yep, the Fs are actually improving. One thing that seems a little bit weird, well, I did see it in the first year anyway, that it looks like there's several classes throughout the year. There's always September, and then October to November, and then usually January, February to March, and May, and June. Well, for some reason in the first year, it's like a lot of these disappeared. So there were no classes between June and July for the first year, or May, or February. So I just spent pretty much the last half of the year sending everybody for tutoring. And I guess that's how I came out with just one person failing instead of like 4 or 5. But this one seems a little bit like they fixed that. So I guess that's a good thing. Alright, so let's make sure everybody that's got an F is still going for tutoring. So this one needs to go again. And this one. So yeah, I mean, if you do get some failures, which pretty much you will in School of Thought, it's best to try and minimize that. Even if they come out with a D, it is still that they're going to continue on. And the only other way to really improve the rooms is just to add like a bunch of the bookcases. But yeah, actually we do have enough to do that. So let's at least put in a couple items that can improve the room. So 2% learning power or 2% learning power. And this one is 2 as well. So each one of those are 750. So I guess we'll just go with the bookcase and then maybe the other one just for kind of a different appearance. So we're going to make these pretty much identical rooms. And let's put the chalkboard right beside the other one. Okay, so each of these are now 6% better. So we got that done. The only other thing we can improve is we have the upgrades for the science machines going. And let's just quickly check. So I do have enough teachers. I do have enough janitors. Let's get maybe one more janitor. And the rapid one seems like a good choice. So you can start working on the machine there. Oh, actually, let's get you working on that. And yeah, so we have enough benches. The attractiveness level is not bad for this area. I can always add a couple more items, but I'm going to focus on doing that over the summer break because you don't need to see me throwing down a bunch of signs, especially with the year getting closer and closer to being finished. So I think that is helping a bit with the level ups by just adding 6% more learning power. So what we're going to do is, okay, now that April is finished, let's quickly check the grades. And we still have some Fs, but as long as they just keep going for tutoring, we should get some of those well beyond an F. Even if they get up to just a D, that's fine. And so let's get maybe another bookcase in here as well. So that's 3,500, and let's get in another school of thought one. So that one I can fit against the wall. Okay, so let's do that. And then because you need these for some of the assignments, it's good to usually have 2, especially when you start getting into having more students. So now we have that. The library is now 18% additional learning power, so that is a big bonus. And the only other thing we can do is the supercomputer is 50,000, so there's no way we can afford that. Excuse me. So we can actually improve the size of the gym now. So if we make it a bit bigger, there we go. That should help out with the size of the gym, and then just do a few quick rearrangements. So I'm going to put the wall right here, so it is right across from the medical lab, which I can upgrade. So we have that, and we're going to move the basketball hoop over to this side as well. We're going to move these over just a touch, and then it will leave enough room for the long jump. Can't remember what it's called. The vaulting course. So I can easily put in a vaulting course and a high jump, which is going to improve the learning power and the healthiness a lot more. I just don't have enough for it yet, but I made a few changes. So now the gym is bigger, and it is a room prestige level 5 now. So I'm at 4 of 10 for getting towards that first star. But the big one is going to be the campus level 18. That is the toughest one to reach. So April, let's quickly check the grades, make sure everybody is still getting tutored. So, yep, all the Fs are set for tutoring. Okay, so we are actually getting a lot better now. And, okay, so you are still an F. Okay, so let's set you up again. And, yep, just keep going for tutoring until you guys get up to at least a D. The main reason you don't want anybody failing out is just to kind of reach that, the max for the students that you have here, just so you can start getting as much tuition as possible. So we have 14,000. We can put in the long vault now, and that can go right here. And then the high vault is next, and that can go in the corner. So our gym is much better off now. The digital room is level 5 as well. Library level 6, and the dormitory 8 already. So I can easily upgrade the science lab soon. I'll check that message now. So Yeah, we already know that you're at risk of failing, so the student tutor rooms are level 2 each. The hardest one to upgrade are all the small rooms here. So unless you make them huge, the medical office, the pastor office, the tutor room, and the bathroom and the shower are pretty much the hardest ones to get up to level 5. But like the student lounge is relatively easy, so we can actually improve that a little bit since we have the money. So I did put a fridge in, and what I like doing is I like putting the counter next to the fridge. And let's go with the white counters, and then add. I like putting the sink on like closest to the door, and then the microwave can go just on the other side of the counter. So now we have a level 3 student lounge. Do we have a garbage in here? No, I didn't even put a garbage in here. So I'm going to put the garbage. I'm going to move the couch over a little bit. I will like having the garbage closest to the door, either the garbage or the hand sanitizer. But I like kind of putting both of them there. So now we have our student lounge looking pretty decent. And the other things that we can add are just something entertainment wise. So I think the clown chest is a fairly good, decent form of entertainment, and it's pretty cheap. And you also, especially with the growing campus, 2 couches is not really absurd for the student lounge. So let's just pick a different color. Let's go with red, and let's put that beside the clown chest. And there we go. So our student lounge is now level 5. And let's do the same thing with the staff room before we continue on. So we have 5,900 to work with, and you don't really need uh like the couches that build up a relationship, because as far as I know, the teachers don't get that. So it's not, there's no point in really wasting money on. Actually, it is the same cost as the other couch, but there's just no point in putting it in unless you like the appearance of it, which it does look better than the just the plain brown couch, but it serves no purpose, and it's easier to tell which is the staff room and which is the student lounge just from the couches. So let's put in a couple windows. No, we can't put one there. Okay, so we got a window, and we're almost at level 5, so once that's at level 5, we can basically say that this room is done for the time being. So there we go. Level 5, and we are now at 6 of 10 rooms, and we still have a lot of distance to go to get up to campus level 18. So once May is done, we'll just check the student grades and hope that the F students are as few as possible. Alright, so they are working on the medical office, the Omnicure, and okay, so there is a bit of a queue. Let's add a couple benches, because for some reason they seem to just be wandering around aimlessly. So I'd prefer if, while they're doing that, maybe they can sit. Okay, so there we go. And that helps. So having just the benches around seems to do quite a bit. So we're almost at the end of May. Let's quickly check. So still quite a few Fs. And let's just keep getting them going into the tutoring until the end of the year. I mean, even though it says, hey, it's the year's almost over, it's too late to do anything now, it can push them just that little bit into a D. Alright, so we need a rose garden. Okay, those are expensive, but we can afford it. So let's put a rose garden, I would say, on this side here. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is definitely put some nice little roads and everything around for the summer of year 2. But there's not much point in focusing on it too much in the video. Okay, so did we get a lot more Fs suddenly? Okay, everybody that has an F definitely needs to go for tutoring. And some of them are almost above 40%. So I guess 40% is the cutoff point. But it looks like a lot of them are pretty close to failing. And I don't think there's enough time to get most of them up, but you can only hope. So there's a queue of 5 people, and where the heck are the teachers? Are they on a break? I don't... Well, actually, there's one class going, and yeah, I guess we're definitely going to have a couple failures here. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I don't like that, but I mean, it's less of a concern. Well, it is still a concern, but it's less of a hit against you, especially in the second year, because you start getting more students in. So we got 16 in, and even if we lose 7, then it's not as bad as if we only had 8 and we lost one of them. So I'm still kind of holding out hope that we get some of them up to a D, but there's only 1 month left and there's a class going, so kind of hoping that this one is going to finish quickly. I probably should have hired another teacher just to get it up there. But we are definitely in the final stretches of the year, so they want a coffee kiosk, a student union, and student lounge party. Well, we're just going to reject the lounge party. We will get the student union built in soon, but let's see about putting a coffee vendor in. Where's a good spot? Not really inside. No, I don't really want to put one there. No, I don't like putting them inside because I prefer they go outside so that they can at least get some sun. So let's put it at least a full square. There we go. Alright, so definitely near the end of the year. We are up to a C average, and we are going to lose some Fs for the next year. So if it happens, it happens, but there's only so much you can do. I've done as much as I can for these students in the first year. School of Thought is definitely difficult, especially when your teachers are still level 1. So once you start getting the training room put in, you can see that that's really going to improve. And how are our loans? So 64,000 for that. We can actually repay that, and then we're dealing with a little bit less interest for the final month. Okay, so that person went up to a C, and that person, I think, is still failing. So we got a couple failures. The academic year is over. Let's just quickly check, and we have 5 people failing. So not 7, not great, but not as apocalyptic as it could have been. And average exam results are pretty low right now. So we did get 2 awards, Student Choice and Best Teacher. Somehow we got the Best Teacher award, even though these teachers suck right now. And we can put up another level for School of Thought. So if we reset that to the default, we can see if we can get up to 24 students. Okay, so let's set it to 24, 11,000, but they are going to be very happy. Okay, so we're going to go with that, and we're getting pretty close to the max. So even though we lost 5 students, we're getting 24 more in. We are going to need a VR lab, and yep, so come this year, I have a few more things to improve on. I'm going to have 42 students, which means that I'm going to need 9 beds. And I have 5, so I need 4 more put in here. So luckily there's a fair bit of room in this dormitory. What I'm going to do is, if I put the beds here, I can add the big one in because I do have the money now. And looking at the loans here, so I can take them all out, and that gives me 400,000 to work with. So that's more than I started with, and I already have buildings going. I can get the Science Hub upgraded at the beginning of the year. Let's actually set that now. And as well for the OmniCure. So those are important to upgrade. I can get the VR lab in. I'm probably going to put the VR lab, I think stick with this side because the staff lounge is here. And it makes it so the staff has pretty much just to be on this side for the most part, except when they're here. And then the assistants quarter. So yeah, I have a few plans for this area. Monthly profit is almost at the 30,000. The biggest obstacle to overcome is the campus level. I still have to get 11 for that, and the level 5 rooms is not really a concern. I'm just going to get to that long before I get to campus level 18. So let's get another School of Thought teacher in, and this one has Iron Bladder and Inspiration, so that is a good one to go with. This one is not very good. And this one, bin blindness. So let's hire our next School of Thought teacher. So It's been a good video. Thanks for watching, and I'll be getting the next one started pretty soon. And I have quite a bit of money to work with, so when we get back, we'll have the VR lab, we'll have a few expansions to this area, we'll have some roads put around the campus, and maybe a couple more doors. And alright, thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and see you next time. Have a good night.